Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2 set to be underway. Alliance versus Cloud9. What a rough opener if you're an Alliance fan out there. That was total domination.
Oh, the Kings in the North not looking like it in this game. Can they bounce back? That's the big question. This is a veteran team. A lot of TI winners or players that have at least competed on the biggest stage. So they shouldn't be rattled, theoretically, based on that experience. But losing that way, anybody can go on tilt. Loda seemed okay on Twitter. He was kind of joking about how they wanted to see how much goal they would get if they had a team fight win, even if they ended up losing. At least he's trying to put a positive spin on it. So hopefully they'll got to keep their chins up and give us a better game, too.
Can they come back? I say absolutely, LD. Will they come back? Well, that's a different question entirely. Maybe this draft will give us some insight. Cloud9 up to trickery already. Wisp Tiny going to be your opener for game number 2, and already Alliance probably sitting there at their keyboards. Oh, Jesus, what have we done to ourselves? Probably so happy they got that first pick Troll, but this is a scary duo to give away.
Yeah, it's always strong. That said, though, it was picked up very early, so Alliance have ample opportunity to game plan against this. I think Troll's one of the better heroes against the combo, simply because he's a BKB carrier, so the Craggy doesn't bother him as much. The blind works great against Tiny, and he's also a Bash Lord. He's someone who can man fight a Tiny and win, but probably not a Tiny Wisp if he's on his own. He's going to need some backup. He starts to get it here. Alliance go into their Spirit Breaker. Now they're going to ban the bat. Want to take away that they probably want to take away that great initiator for Cloud9. The Tiny Wisp are not normally the ones who start the fight. It's normally a Clockwork, a Bat Rider, you know, someone else who can get in up close and personal and set up a decent fight. And the other thing is that this Bat Rider makes it very hard to push. And if you can't push into Tiny Wisp, then you're going late game. Not a situation Alliance ideally want to be in.
No, never fun. Even if you have someone like Troll that can man fight against the Tiny Wisp, that's not always where Tiny Wisp shine. We've seen many a game that's lost through split push, rat play, when Tiny's going for the throne with an overcharge. That's never a fun place to be in. Even if you have a good pushing team of your own, you have Battle Trance, always a little bit risky. But at least Alliance have the Bash Lords, like you mentioned, the natural synergy there with your Troll ultimate, with the Spirit Breaker and all of his bashes. Not too bad. Solid opener for Alliance, and we'll see how the rest of the picks come through. Skywrath Mage, the third ban for Cloud9. I think they actually opened with there was a Skywrath first ban last game, though actually I think it came from Alliance. So a hero that both teams have been prioritizing bans on, and now the Beastmaster, the fourth ban for Alliance.
Okay. So it seems like the vision heroes are a big priority for Alliance, right? The Bat Rider, great vision hero. The Zeus, also excellent. We saw that last game. And now the Beastmaster. They're tired of Cloud9 having the vision advantage, the map control edge. I feel like Cloud9 may find a hero that gives it anyway, maybe the Clockwork with the Rocket, but these are probably some of the strongest heroes in the game as far as that map control goes.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Wisp Tiny, half the battle is knowing where they are for the relocate, so smart choices, I suppose. Cloud9, what do you ban out here? Very open-ended draft for Alliance, which could take a number of turns. I think you might want to ban out a support that's good against the Wisp. And well, I was thinking Witch Doctor or Disruptor, but Envy, he bans out the Faceless Void. So that'll limit some of the core options here for Alliance.
So they need that Bone 7 hero. Clockwork is out there. I think he actually does pretty well against Troll and Spirit Breaker. He's not the best with Tiny, but it is an option. Though with the Skywrath ban, I guess he's a bit less valuable. They're going to start with the Bane. So one of the few supports that can really initiate the fights in this patch. It feels like this is just a hero that seems to be rising in popularity because he can do so much alone. He's a very tanky support. He's got the 2 disables to work with, the grip, which goes through BKB, something a lot of the other supports that are popular right now do not give you.
10 seconds
remaining. I forget who else was picking him. Someone else was running him Alliance have been running the Bane actually for Mad here and there. So.
Yeah, oh yeah, that goes way back. I mean, back on the Sigma days, that was like their secret strategy was give Bane to Mad and
just
win
hope
games.
He can do some work.
Yeah, I mean, he has traditionally done a lot of work on that hero, so something he knows how to play against quite well. One thing that pairs very well, or faces very well against the Wisp Tiny pairing is the Bristleback. We saw last night in Summit 3 America Phase 2 how well that hero can do, even in a 1v2, because he's just so tanky, and Wisp being a low armor hero, the quills really add up fast. Unfortunately for Alliance, though, with 2 melee cores already, Troll sort of 50-50, but mostly a melee hero, Don't know that you want that many melee cores grouped up against the Tiny once he gets that Whomping Willow and starts cleaving around.
No, I guess they do have two who can be ranged, the Troll potentially as well as the Silencer, but normally you want your Troll in bash mode. So
Yes.
10 seconds
I think the big
remaining.
question now is there any chance of a core Silencer? He actually has pretty good synergy
5
with Troll.
seconds remaining.
With the Orb, if he's able to steal some intelligence, he does a lot of damage. And his big weakness normally is a right clicker, is attack speed. He's not an agility hero, doesn't tend to build attack speed items. But Cloud9 dropping the hammer here with the Magnus. They want that late game edge. Now you've got the empowered Tiny. Well, what's the Magnus going to be laning against? I guess that's the big question, but man, the last time Fada played Mag, he was disgusting.
Yep.
That was one of the best Magnus performances I've ever seen. And I've cast some amazing games from S4 and other Mag players historically, but that game that I was watching, I forget who they were playing, but it just took the cake.
No, an incredible Magnus player, and I think this really does deter a potential Bristleback pick here. Still an option for Alliance, and now having Tiny and Magnus, I feel like you can't pick up that much melee. If you do, you are rolling the dice and just kind of fingers crossed that Magnus will not be there with an RP whenever you make that fatal misstep to clump up.
They did not go into the Rubik, though. They still go for they opt for the Dazzle here, so that'll be at least one of their supports. Silencer and Spirit Breaker both could be supports. They could theoretically both be cores and then run like the Spirit Breaker off lane, the Silencer safe lane for Loda, the Troll mid for Pycat. That is a possibility, so it makes things a little bit trickier for Cloud9, not knowing exactly how this game will be laned. And I mean, maybe they do even consider a last pick Rubik and look to run the Silencer as a core. I think that's what Cloud9 are really debating here, is what's it going to be.
It is open-ended, and Alliance may be keeping their options open for that very reason. They ban out the Axe. That's a very safe ban here with Troll and Dazzle. Can't really go wrong with it. I don't know. I have this feeling that this Silencer is more likely to be a core, but it feels pretty 50-50 at this point. Alliance will have the final pick to try and adapt to whatever Cloud9 does here. Alliance will opt to final ban the Lina.
So they have their supports. They have the Fada Mag. They need their offlaner here for Bone 7, most likely.
Clockwork?
I mean,
in the pool?
It could be a Bone 7 Mag, and it seems like that's what Alliance thought with the Lina ban, is that Fada's hero has not been picked yet. But
I think a Clockwork could be very good here, actually. Certainly in Bone 7's comfort zone, a hero he knows quite well.
It's a Vision hero. They've already banned out 3 of those Vision heroes for Alliance, so if Cloud9 truly value Vision that much... the last pick Brood.
Yeah, not quite that Clockwork, but a whole nother beast of another mother. She is...
This hero, sometimes you just construct a draft where it gets to the 5th pick. There's a Brood out there. The enemy team doesn't have ways to deal with it, and it's like, well, we may have just won this game with 1 pick.
They...
Not saying they have, but it depends a lot on this last pick, but it looks like a good Brood
I mean, okay, they could take LC here, a quote-unquote counter to Brood Mother. Is there even like a win rate advantage of LC versus Brood? I feel like not really. It seems
I don't think we see the heroes enough to even know.
I mean, she's regarded as one of the counters to clear out the spiders, but Brood can just do so much. We saw yesterday.
They do have the Spirit Breaker. That is that is the hero to shut down Brood for them, but
yeah, to get the vision. But oof, man, it's going to be a tough laning phase. We saw I think on the first day of Phase 2 for Summit America, where Jenkins played a Brood Mother, and he was the victim of First Blood before creeps even spawned. He was 0-7 in the first 15 minutes, and they still won just because of how much space he created. They had to put so much into shutting down the Brood, even the supports, buying sentry after sentry, dust after dust. Even if you shut this hero down, it doesn't come for free. And if you can force those supports to skip going a Blink Dagger or various other necessary items, no mech, and they're spending all their money on consumables, Brood's already done her job.
The Brood this game could do what Big Daddy did last game on the support bounty hunter.
Exactly.
The exact same thing. Yeah, just shut the enemy sports down.
Yeah.
And now you're fighting 4v3 because their supports have no items, no levels. So.
And even if the Brood is underfarmed, as we saw before, Big Daddy was underfarmed as hell towards the end of that game, but it didn't matter. He ended up getting more for his carries. And what do Alliance pick here? This is a very tricky last pick. I honestly don't know. We'll have to see.
It's just so hard to say. I mean, it looked like Cloud9 thought...
Okay, they take the LC.
Good call there.
They go for the quote-unquote counter for Brood, but...
It does go well with the Troll ultimate, too.
True.
So...
And good with the Dazzle. You can grave the LC so she can get the duels off. And
this could be really potent with Global, potentially. Because you imagine this Legion blinks in as we're Where are we going?
There we go. Production fail.
Hashtag production value. But yeah, I mean, potentially this is a very strong combo of the Legion breaks in with the global. They can't even relocate. They can't TP anyone in to interrupt things with an RP or a grip. And it is going to be a core silencer, so we were right about that. Support Spirit Breaker to go with the Dazzle and an offlane Legion. Now, my one worry is for the Legion, though. Maybe they go aggressive, but by default, you normally see the Legion offlane. If it is a solo offlane, this hero sometimes struggles to find his early levels in farm. And he's not the best comeback hero, so
yes,
we'll have to keep an eye on how they want to lane this one.
I think Loda will probably go for a refresher pretty early on in his build. That Ag style is really fallen out, mostly since you don't get that duration bonus anymore. It seems like the refresher just gives you a lot more utility in general.
Yeah, the big thing is like, yeah, sure, you don't get the Curse of the Silent on everyone on the enemy team. And maybe you don't even have the mana to use 2 ults, but you just ult once, you just go back to the fountain and refresh it, and then you've got another ult, so you can fight more often, if nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. It makes him much less of a one-trick pony, and just another cooldown that the opposition have to kind of try and keep tabs on as best they can. So, an interesting draft on both sides. I think the edge for Cloud9 is there, mostly because of ease of execution. Alliance have a strong draft, but they're going to have to execute right. They're going to have to coordinate kills on this Brood with the vision from the Spirit Breaker, with the damage from the LC, and they're going to have to make every single one of these globals count to stop Cloud9 from getting out of control. Alliance will invade to get things started. No wards coming down quite yet. Ake does have quite a few, but he's going to hang on to them for now. Cloud9 already scouting them out. They've got a ward on the high ground here to give vision of that bottom rune, and they will just back out to not get caught and concede an early first blood. Still curious where Alliance are going to put these wards down. Looks like they'll just invade through and hang on to all of their wards for now. First one comes down in the mid lane right about here.
Interesting. And they're going to rotate here. Cloud9 sending the Brood towards bottom. They want the Brood versus the tri-lane, it looks like, or at least potential dual or tri-lane. Let's see. What's it going to be? Loda? Is he solo bottom? Huh.
Wow. That is not what I would have expected. I feel like they really need to prioritize the farm on this silencer. Make sure he can, even if it's not a refresher, just get your core items
Crazy
going.
musical lanes. Now Ake's going bottom as well, but
all right.
Still, it's a safe lane Brood versus the Dazzle silencer. I don't really see them killing this Brood, nor do I see them slowing him down. So then the question becomes, can they at least shut down mid? Maybe. With the charge from Mad, perhaps he can find a good opening, but there's 2 wards. Both at each side of the runes as they're going to make a slight go here on Pycat. Harass him a bit early on. He will turn around and try to smack Big Daddy a few times on his troll. Actually gets a lot of damage onto him. Well, misses the last auto attack. But yeah, it's if you try to charge mid from either side of the map, they're likely to see you with these wards. So they're not able to get a charge out. I don't know how much they'll be able to shut down.
Well, this top lane already kind of a slugfest. Fada and Misery versus Mad and Nikwa. They're just laying into each other right now. Nobody's really farming. Both the Magnus and LC seem more interested in doing damage to the opposing heroes. Spirit Breaker, great in this kind of a scenario when you're skirmishing early. Of course, one of the highest EHP heroes in the game, up there with the Ogre and the Night Stalker. So he's happy to trade blows for now. They'll secure some farm on the LC, but I do like this this call from C9 to leave the Bane up top and try to make some space for Fada so he doesn't get completely boxed out.
Yeah, you can already see the Observer, the Sentry coming down bottom. A lot of harass on the boat 7. Ake even throwing out the heal here. He's going to get out of vision of the Sentry Order. Maybe not. A couple of extra auto attacks. Ooh, that was dangerously close. The Spider, weak and wounded, limping around here as they're going to try again to make some pressure happen top on Fada. But he's getting some really nice procs here on the Moment of Courage. It's trading very effectively in this top lane.
Yeah, Bone 7, no sentries yet, but if he runs a set out, he will be able to possibly take a vision advantage here. Wisp already stacking up in the jungle, double stack at the medium camp, still no hard stack, or hard camp stack up yet. All things considered, this mid lane going okay. Pycat finding a little bit of farm, but it is Envy coming out on top. Loda seems to be doing just fine in the off lane, though. Ake keeping Bone 7 occupied.
They have the skewer back into the tower.
Oh, Nikwa. Yep, that's
Tower not cooperating, though. It's hitting creeps. Nikwa, maybe he lives here. He's got the Stout Shield, the Rain of Protection. He's awful tanking. Here comes the cow. They get the first blood. Now Machka on the way out. Big Daddy has a bottle charge. They may even get 2 out of this. Mad in trouble. Slow down, brought down. They get nothing. And now bottom looking for the trade, but Bone 7 able to TP himself back to the well. before the last word goes off. He'll survive too. Everywhere you turn on this map, it's all wins going the way of Cloud9. And on top of that, although the Tiny was left alone, he's still free farming. He's your leader in CS already.
Yeah, that little bit of a movement speed advantage is all they needed up top to find those kills and turn it around. Now Fata off to a slow start, but he gets the first blood, so things have turned around quite nicely. Now they should be able to find an edge in this top lane. They'll start farming up for those arcane boots. What a start for Cloud9, and already glancing at the graphs. Whoa, it's actually Alliance that have the golden
CSing
experience
a
edge.
lot better right now.
Yeah,
so
they really
that
are.
does keep them in the game. But imagine if it's Alliance getting those kills. Oh, no, not going to go on mid, just an Avalanche harass. But imagine if it's Alliance getting those kills. Then suddenly they're probably up 2-3K.
Yeah, I guess the mid lane, toss forward on No Tail. He'll take some tower shots as well as the whirling axes, and now he just has to sip up
Be
that
gentle
bottom.
with your Wisp partner here.
Yeah, go easy,
Eternal
Envy.
Envy.
Come on, he's got no armor. Take it easy on the
Big
little
Daddy's
energy
taking some
ball.
punishment. And he is getting charged as they journey towards the bottom rune. Troll is tracking them through this. He may want to go in here. Oh, in the front lines is the Tiny. Can he get off an Avalanche? No, he gets bashed first. And then connects onto Big Daddy. Has a tether cooling down. Backup inbound for both teams. But it looks like Big Daddy, the first man caught out. The heal comes through. He bottles up. He survives for a while. Wants to deny the neutrals. Ain't going to happen. Loda gets him in.
Almost. Very close call. The right play. Envy holding that stun as long as he could to try and get Wisp as close to the neutrals as possible.
Matt has another charge. He's slept up for now. Eternal Envy looking for the combo. He gets the Avatos. It's enough to get the kill. But now a double damage Troll joins the fray. There are 3 heroes here tracking him down. Curse of the Silent coming out. As Alliance descending in numbers into this Radiant jungle. But still, ends up only being a 1-for-1.
Yeah, not really ideal. I mean, they'll take it, but certainly less than ideal. Fata now, he's almost level 5. His rotation was worth it. If he had an RP there, it could have been a different story, but still pretty early on. The big disparity in terms of net worth is really Bone 7. Even though he's doing a pretty good job in terms of not dying in the bottom lane, he does not have any farm. He's forced to TP to the tier 1 tower.
He's
still
getting
charged,
charged, though. He's got no way out now. Oh, this looks like he should go down here.
I think
so they have the detection. The sentry ward's here. Bone 7 still being scouted out unless he backs up away from the sentry. There is dust anyway, so now he's definitely dead.
Yeah, there you go. So 2-3, great charge from Alliance.
Nequa, man, endless action all around the map. They wanted to make a go here, but he's a little bit too tanky, so they're gonna have to back it off.
A little too fast as well. So this is great. Loda, I was a little skeptical about how this off-lane silencer would do, but against the Brood, they're not having any problems. Ake going for a more aggressive build, 2 points in the poison touch. You don't see this too often, skipping Grave at level 3, and sometimes you'll see that first value point in the poison touch, then it's left alone, and here Ake feels like he needs that extra bit of damage to really effectively run out the Brood, especially before he has that Soul Ring and can amass that army of Spiderlings. So.
Yeah, we don't see this approach versus Broods very often. A lot of players have shared their thoughts. I know PPD was talking about on a cast he did with us a couple of months back that he feels Brood is very weak right now, or at least he did back then, because even if you get ahead, you give the Brood the first tower, and then you just hunt her in the mid game. She's a big bag of gold for your team. The farther ahead she is, the more that rubber band snaps, and the hero just doesn't do as much with the items as others. But normally the approach for Brood seemed to be just kind of turtle up, hang on, let the Brood get an early start, get what you can elsewhere, and then look to punish it in the mid game. But this approach is shut the Brood down for minute 1, and so far it does seem to be working. Yeah,
Alliance are holding on to a good 1,500 experience advantage right now, so that's nothing to scoff at the 6-minute mark. Maybe about 500-600 gold or so. Actually, 750. So finding some victory there. Looks like there was at least a double stack in the jungle at the hard camp. So Envy now getting some time in the jungle, reaping the benefits of having his Wisp who can move out of the lane and work the jungle for him. He'll now have power charge with 1,000 gold. See if he stops off for the drums before the Aghanims. But Loda, he's in it for the late game. He's got the Hand of Midas. First item has it delivered right around the 6.5-minute mark.
This is a big item for Alliance. The Silencer, probably their most important hero as this game moves along. He's the one who sets up for everything. The charge initiations, the blink into duel. Else, you can just go for a sleep, a grip, a counter RP. There's a lot of ways for Cloud9 to counter initiate and punish aggression, but if Global's on the playing field, then that all changes. He gets his level 6 now. So yeah, I am curious what the build's going to be here for Loda. We've seen, especially the support silencers have been, we saw it a lot from the Chinese teams, and some of the Western teams started copying it, it looked like, where they'll just go like Tranquil Boots straight into Refresher. Yeah. Maybe, a null tally or two along the way.
Smoke rotation. Ake caught by the Avalanche. Toss is there, and no time for a grade.
Now
Easy
top,
pick
there's
off.
a duel.
But will fall. That's bonus damage going to Nequa, our first duel victory of the match.
Finally, a game where Legion Commander is an okay start. I swear to God, I must have cast like 8 Legion Commander games in a row over the past couple months, and every game, this hero's just feeding in the off lane. But he's got good CS. He gets a duel there. He's actually off to a nice start and may be able to snowball.
And Misery kills a full duration Observer Ward in the mid lane, keeping it steady while his Tiny roams about, trying to leech some solo XP. Will close in on that level 6 mark and make that lane safe for his Tiny when he comes back. We'll get a Bounty Rune. Nice defensive nightmare there as Mad comes charging in. Fata nearby with an RP. But both sides will just part ways, and C9 will be happy to have Bounty Rune to their name.
That was a cute play by Misery. Gets the Bounty Rune as well. Yeah, I'll be happy with that.
And No Tail bottled up the Invis that was down bottom. The Rune control is going the way of C9, at least for now.
The big thing C9 do have working for them is that they're running a Tiny Wisp mid. They've been allowed to freely stack and clear the jungle, and they are already very close to a level 6. So a fast level 6. This could be their big tool. On the one side, you've got the Global Silence, the Charge, or Dual Initiation for Alliance. On the other side, you'll have a very fast relocate available, and it could be the big ability that breaks this game open for Cloud9. So far, it's a pretty even game. Lead here for Alliance, but not an overwhelming one by any means.
Yeah, very minor in this stage of the game. We've talked about it a fair bit. Tiny Wisp always have that ability to power farm through the mid game, and we still haven't really seen the full power of this lineup in terms of the Empower on the Tiny. Magnus still only 6, hasn't gotten that first point in Empower yet, and Envy pulling his gold for now, about 1,800. Still unknown if he's going to stop off for the drums or if he wants to go straight for the Aghanim Scepter. Both can work, and usually I'd say the drums...
Or even the Blink Dagger.
Yeah, or just straight for Blink. That could be what he's pulling for. So far, he's been very active, 2-0 and 0, and often that's when you see drums picked up when a Tiny wants to fight rather than just rush the Ags and farm. But
they're going to get a charge off on Fada. It may hit 2 heroes. It does. Then the Global comes out. Eternal Envy's been caught. So much for that smoke gank. They want to get the hell out. Fada gets off an RP. He'll go down. Avalanche is there. No follow-up charge. He's not level 6 yet on Mad. So it's a Global used, and they end up getting just the 1 kill. As Neeko bottom lane, they want to relocate on him. They bring in the Tiny Wisp. He's going to try to retreat out. He's already used the overwhelming odds. They'll toss that little ball forward now, trying to purge off the slow and head for the hills. Don't know if he makes it. Tether. He is going to take the Tiny back in the end, and now they're charging Bone 7. They may even go back in on this.
Is this a potential turnaround down in the bottom lane? Mad comes charging in, hits him with a stun, and now he just heads for the hills. Fata will respawn, TP's in, and that'll be the end of it. They can't kill the LC, and nor can they punish anything else. All right, that's it. Thought that'd be a little more explosive.
I thought they were going to leave the Tiny there to try for the chase on the Legion, but
yeah, me too.
I think they realized it's been such a long chase that Spirit Breaker could be charging us, and we may end up just giving up multiple kills. I don't think they actually saw him coming in, but
and Envy was out of mana. I guess he had stick charges, but
yeah, they're just going to accept that they can't get the kill done. So, Alliance kind of claw together a slight little lead here. It does look to me like Envy's going for that Blink Dagger. If he wanted the Ags or the drums, he would have bought components or could have bought the full drums by now. So,
yeah, I think drums are definitely out of the equation.
It could very well be an early Blink.
Blink with Wisp. I feel like I don't see that often. The only time I really see Blink on Tiny when it's a Tiny without a Wisp or he's in more of a support role. It can definitely work well, just a bit atypical.
The big thing with Tiny is once you get level 9, and you've got the 1 point in throw as well as the max avalanche toss, you can combo a lot of heroes. The Legion should survive it. Even Pycat could be comboed with a +1. The Dazzle's a one-shot. The Silencer's picked up. Lotus picked up a bit booster though, so he's going to go for a tankier build here.
Could be an Atos first. Could also just be the casual Vid boost.
Mid lane. Big dive onto Matchka. The reveal of the Blink Dagger comes out from Eternal Envy, but he gets off the charge on 2. I don't even know if they get the kill. The little balls.
Can he do it? No Tail goes in for it, but it'll cost him his life. Mad with about 20 HP does walk away. Oh, how unfortunate. That's such a...
That was tanky. 6 armor, 1,000 HP before the urn.
That has got to be one of the most frustrating things about Wisp, though. When you're in a situation like that and someone's 1 hit from death and you have the spirits and you can't quite get them in that range and you're bringing them in, pushing them out, you're like, just hit the hero, just hit him, and then you end up dying without the kill. That is absolutely infuriating.
Eternal Envy slightly under-leveled. Normally at that point, I'd say he'd be at least 8 or 9, but he's just going to jump in bottom lane. Now the Global comes out, Nikwa trying to turn this one. He gets healed. Do they go back in, though? Global's about to wear off. Dazzle ultimate now used. There's your charge. Well, rather, another strike, but it's into a grip as well as an RP. They want to turn this Machka. Charging on forward. Envy gets off the toss. Where's the backup? They need the whole gang here, but Troll is off farming the middle lane. Doesn't have a TP. Has no way to get involved, and because of it, they're going to lose 3 heroes and drop the Global. It might be 4. Ake trying to turn with the heal. Can't even get Misery. Oh, a 3 for nothing and a Global wasted. They needed that +1. If Troll is there, that is a disastrous fight for Cloud9.
That seems so perfect for Alliance at first. It's about a 2K net worth trade as C9 makes out big. They used the Global, they counter-initiated that so well, and then it all just fell apart. C9 just had the reinforcements, they had the power, and it all just fell apart from there. Oh my, now Loda, even though he's got this hand of Midas, he's still not really in fighting form whatsoever. No Force Staff, still on brown boots. There's just no mobility on this Silencer. Once he drops his ultimate, if they don't find some kills and take the edge there, he needs to just turn, tail, and run, and this time he won't be able to make it out. And that whole time, Bone7 got a little space made for himself. He now has a hand of Midas, so his road to recovery begins here, and all things considered, his farm is not too bad given that pretty slow start he had.
I think what Alliance is really lacking right now is that Blink Dagger on Nikwa. That charge is not the best way to initiate these fights. Sure, you Global, you maybe get off a charge Nether Strike, but it's not a very long duration lockdown, and it also forces the Spirit Breaker to go into a really forward position, whereas with the Blink, they don't see you coming nearly as often, and you can just instantly jump them, catch them more towards your tower, away from their team, look to find a quicker takedown. But again, I think that plus the Troll not being there, that's what really hurt Alliance. As they combo on the mid lane, trying to go on Pycat. It's fairly tanky though. The Dazzle ultimate comes out. Now the counter initiate. They want to go on Big Daddy. Has no relocate available. He'll end up dropping Eternal Envy. Could be next. He will. Alliance strikes back in a big way.
Hasted up Loda as well. They may try to dive Misery here. No, they don't. They double back. And okay, 2-0 in the mid. Just as we saw in the bottom lane, it seemed like the aggressors were off to a good start, but this go round, it's the other way.
It's Rosh time. The Troll pick makes this almost a foregone conclusion if Alliance aren't aggressively contested.
Relocate down for another 25 seconds. I was thinking maybe they could relocate in here and make a play, but looks like cooldowns won't allow for it. As Wisp and Tiny come up, this... Okay, they're just going to let it fall.
Fato's getting pinged out here. He's just going to keep on pressuring in this bottom lane. They are going to be forced to sacrifice Aegis going Alliance's way. That is a very nice pickup for them, and it could be a game changer.
Yeah, 7-7. You look at this graph, and it's all over the place, but Alliance jump right back in the lead, about 3K net worth, more about 5K experience. That's their favor now, and with an Aegis on the Troll Warlord, maybe Pycat can finally start to join these fights. We'll see him relocate onto Ake. He sees it coming, uses the Grave and a Global. Okay, Global deployed. Fata in the bottom lane. Do they find the kill there? They do. So maybe helps get the kill on Magnus. I guess that's worth it. Global just to save Dazzle, though, does not feel particularly worth it. So.
Not ideal, but it is slowing down the Tiny Wisp a lot. I mean, look at Eternal Envy's items. He's got 65 CS at 16 minutes. They keep on chasing the ganks, hunting for kills. And if it works, then, you know, he's fat and the other carries are poor. But when it doesn't, he ends up in a situation where he's got half the CS of the Legion. Now, granted, most of these are Spider Lanes and Spiderites, but, you know, he's behind every single core on Alliance when it comes to CS. This is a Tiny Wisp. It's not common to see a Tiny, at least not towards the top of that CS chart.
And this is one of the issues with going that Blink Dagger first item. At this point, you want to have an Aghanim Scepter be completing it right around now, and this is when the big farm begins. You look towards Ancients, you look all over the place, and maybe think, or looking for stacks in the Radiant Jungle, rather. I mean, maybe he's thinking, I'll have Empower, so that makes up for the lack of Ags, and I can still farm at a comparable rate. That may be the thought process, but so far, it hasn't happened. They do have some Ancients stacked up. Looks like just a double stack for now. If they can't continue to find kills with this Blink, Envy is going to have to sit back and play the farm game.
I'm actually, you know, we were talking about, like, the Tiny Wisp, and, oh, God, you don't want to go late game against this. That's how they open the draft, but honestly, I think Alliance's draft does pretty well against Cloud9 late game. If they get to that double global point, hold that thought, mid lane, skewer in onto Pycat, has the Aegis, gets off the whirling axes, but still ends up dropping.
Okay, they do burn an RP to get that started. That's how the fight began. When he comes back up, I think they'll just let him walk out. Happy to get the Aegis out of play for now.
They have the Grave. They do have the Blink Duel. They could go for an aggressive play here, and Global is cooling down. and immediately Cloud9 want to push the other direction. They're going to rotate top, bringing in Misery with his Fiend's Grip. If they get Loda, then there's no global to counter-initiate. That's a good reason to focus on him first.
Cal was charging up top, but Ward did scout it out. He cancels it, and we'll just move into the jungle for now. C9 all split up. Looks like they won't be able to find any objectives off this, at least not quite yet.
They have a dual Eternal Envy walking dangerously close to Nikwa, but he might have seen him or he might have just known that he was in the area. I didn't actually have a chance to toggle Fog of War, but anyway, he's going to back off. So Alliance make the move top. Still yet to find a Blink initiation, but they're searching for it.
All right, Troll gets the tier 1 tower mid. Up top, this one should be denied. Siege Creep will get it in deny range, and yeah, down it's going to go.
It's just funny to see this ridiculous CS score on the lead. He's up to 150 CS. As mentioned,
Spiders. Oh, here we go. Duel on the Bone 7. Plenty of Alliance nearby, and that'll be another victorious Legion commander. 24 damage on Nikwa now, and another death for Bone 7.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of expand on what I was talking about earlier, do Cloud9 really have better late game? Like, imagine if everyone gets close to 6 slotted. I think Alliance win at that point, barring an amazing RP, but you're up against Silencer, and presumably he's going to have double global, which is, at that point in the game, you've got the charge to initiate, the Blink duel to initiate, the Troll who can run in.
Yeah,
it's very difficult later on. The later this game goes, when the refresher comes into play, it's not that Cloud9 can't win the late game. They can also look for rat plays, but Spirit Breaker is a great hero to punish and completely shut down any efforts at Rat Dota. Yeah, I think as it goes late, at best it's even, and I might even favor Alliance. Certainly if they're able to keep on farming like this, I would give them the edge.
Yeah, the rat threat is really what's scary, though. Fata almost misses an RP, but now Nikwa counter-initiates, comes in with a duel, rather, and that's the end of the damage.
Now Big Daddy rotated in with the relocate. He almost ends up going down. He's able to TP away, and he's going to be going right back, I think, towards Eternal Envy. But they have eyes on him. Do they want to charge? No, they'll let him go. Still, though, that Blade Mail caught them off guard. I don't think Fata saw it, or maybe just wasn't expecting it to be used in time.
It was just an aggressive play. He blinked forward, thinking about the RP, realized he was going to miss it, and then instantly Nikwa was there.
Nikwa's just going ham with this Blade Mail.
This will be the same story, but with a different ending. Now Nikwa goes down, Misery, knowing his limits, finishes him off with a Brain Sap, and
I like how he takes the entire Spiderling army with him.
Yeah.
This Legion later, after the laning stage, man, he just destroys this Broodmother's army. Can't push. At least not very well.
So Envy will now transition into the Aghanim Scepter. He's got the point booster up. He's getting charged. He'll blink back after pressuring the tower, but Mad's there. Hits him with another strike. Downs little follow-up as well. Brings out the aggressive weave. Troll joining the party now. They want Envy, but can they actually find him? No Tail has him tethered up. Overcharge.
Nice chuck.
And yep, that'll toss him back to his friends.
Was a little risky by Envy. He used the Avalanche to farm the wave mid, so he had no way to stop that charge when it comes in, but still good decision making under pressure, able to get the toss back.
Can you toss the Spirit Breaker when he's charging by if the situation is right and there's a target to throw him to? Or is that
I'm pretty sure you can't, because the charge is like a wide enough AoE that you just get bashed.
Oh yeah, you just get bashed right up. Yeah,
I don't think that's possible.
I don't think I've ever seen somebody do that. That would be pretty funny.
It would be hilarious if you could. I don't think it's possible.
You're right. I think you do end up just getting bashed, and that's the end of it. So, Loda, though, first item, Atos. Now the Ultimate Orb comes out. So, no refresher on the horizon. I'm sure he'll get it at some point, but not the first item that he's prioritizing or rushing here. I wonder what this Orb will turn into. Still sitting on brown boots also. I mean, Scythe, never a bad choice, especially if you want to go refresher.
Yeah, Hex seems like the probable item. I do want to point out Mad is charging, and they're converging on this Ancient stack. They're going to get onto Big Daddy. Has to relocate, but gets global. There's no way to bail him out. Where's the Bashers, though? Not getting any. There's the duel. More free damage for Nikwa. Give him plus 52. And now they want to take these Ancients. RP, will it be used here to try and hold the Ancients?
C9 will defend, and they absolutely have to. Losing the Ancients here is almost bigger than losing the Wisp. Double damage onto Pycat.
That's the perfect move by Alliance. Don't fully commit to the Ancients, because then you may get caught by RP and completely feed away that advantage. Just take what Ancients you can on your way out and just play it safe. They're making really good calls here in the clutch, and they're punishing Cloud9 so far.
On the Fata, Atos to start things off, charge
another
from the back
charge.
Lines, and they'll just cancel it, using it for vision.
No global, so with no global and no duel, you got to let them have the Ancients.
And Misery will look for a potential ward in this area, and well, gets a sentry, but the bigger issue is you just can't counterboard the Space Cow. He gives you all that vision. He just has to see you for half a second. And, you know, the way to play the Spirit Breaker, even if you cancel 90% of your charges, you just want to be constantly charging to give your team that vision so you know where the cores are, maybe scout out a potential relocate. It can be quite game-changing. Vladimir's offering on the way for the Spirit Breaker, and Envy, he's got the full Aghanim, so he did get the bulk of the Ancients, and now we're seeing the benefits of the Empower Ags, where he is just cleaving up a storm.
Yeah, there's always that potential. You get the 3-4 hero RP with Empower Ags Tiny, and you wipe the floor with Alliance, but at the same vein, if Alliance get off a good global and just find a pick-off, it can go the other way. As often, in fact, as usually it doesn't, don't it? It comes down to initiation and positioning here for both teams as we move towards a very explosive mid-game. For now, it looks like Cloud9 want to get into the enemy woods a little bit. And they did manage to take down the Tier 1 top earlier. I don't know if we ever got to talk about it. It's been a while at this point, but taking that tower down just opens up the entire jungle. Oh, bottom lane. Relocate coming in. They got a 2-hero RP. Now the duel coming, but they grip Pyket. They hold Nico in position, and Nico's going to end up going down. He does not give any duel damage the other way, but 2 for no. An excellent RP by Fada.
And just great timing. The global was coming off cooldown in like 5 seconds or so when that fight broke out. So
oh man, that really hurt.
Very bittersweet for Loda. Could have been a different fight had the ultimate been available. Now they find Dazzle. Yeah, preemptive Grave comes out, and Dazzle will almost live, but he mistimes the TP. Big Daddy will finish him off with the Spirits. The tower also goes down to the Wrath of Tiny. Hits it with the tree, and it's Cloud9 again coming out ahead.
Well, big plays being made around the map. That's pretty much all there is to say. Excellent RP, setting everything up, and I do want to point out Bone7, commander of the hill.
Yes, he has just taken over this jungle.
This is some Lord of the Rings shit here. Spider hiding in the mountains.
Yeah, he's got webs all over the place.
Some unpleasant memories.
Poor Frodo. Now, I wonder what Bone7's going for in terms of items. He's picked up the Yasha. It could just be kind of a casual farming tool to give him that extra bit of movement speed so he's super fast. Maybe move into a Necro Book for rat play, or he could just try to go for this right-click style like S and Y and more combative items. Though it seems the more popular Brood builds are with that split push, because Brood still doesn't really want a man fight. She's a mama. She wants to sit back and let her babies do the work.
Well, her babies, she's a vicious and cruel mother, just feeding endless hordes of her children to the gaping maw of this Legion commander. But I think more likely we're going to see a Manta style here for Bone7 than the Sanjin Yasha. It's a good split push item, and you mentioned that's most likely his goal. As the game goes later, you can get pretty strong Brood illusions if you get like a Butterfly picked up. It's a build that AUI 2000 used to love going for in Brood. Now this was back with the old Brood, but he would always go for the early Manta. He would skip Orchid and BKB entirely most games, and play her more as a true right clicker. It just helps you constantly move around hasted webs as well. So.
Yeah, that's true. So Roche under assault. Cloud9 will relocate up top to finish off that tier 2 tower.
By the Spirit Breaker, but Fada's waiting mid lane, gets the RP, gonna skewer him way back. Global gets deployed, and they're gonna have to club him down slowly. Dazzle has a Grave available, gets it off. Now the duel from Nico. They need follow-up. Pycat coming in hot and heavy. They'll get the kill. Another duel one for Nico. Now to plus 66, too. But Bone7, guess who's pushing top in the meantime? Yep. Oh man, that's Spider.
Oh, that's a nice chunk of change for Nico. That'll pay for his TP back home, that's for sure. So, nice trade for Cloud9. Of course, they get the Aegis. It's on the Troll Warlord. Bone7 will try to TP home, and it'll happen. Ooh, another close one, but he makes it out. So for C9, they relocate up top. They didn't have great vision around the Roche pit. Hard to say whether that was a calculated call to hand over Roche and just try to get another access point, or if they hadn't quite scouted it out and just saw an opportunity to push the tower. Either way, they don't hand the Aegis over for free. And you look at that gold graph, it's zeroed out. Cloud9 don't have an edge, but they've farmed their way back into this game. Very minor experience lead for Alliance. So things shaping up a little bit, and we've already seen this Yule's Scepter pick up on Fada come in handy to shut down that Spirit Breaker, and I'm sure that won't be the only time we see it used in such a manner.
Yeah, it's great against the Spirit Breaker. It's an excellent item versus the Silencer, just to self-Yules, quickly remove the global as well. And like, this is before Loda even thinks about a refresher. He's interestingly still not even building towards one. As you mentioned, the Ultimate Orb a while ago, we still haven't seen the Hex come out. I still think that's the likely choice. They are trying to charge here bottom, but I don't know about this Mad. He's gone in a long way. He gets Yules at the last possible second. Ooh. But because they don't know how much backup is coming, they're going to let him walk away. This is now space creative for Bone7 top lane. He'll be immediately issued the order to start pushing in that side.
And his farm is getting scarier here. He's got a Perseverance now to go with the Yasha, so if he upgrades it to a Manta, he will delay it a little bit longer.
Lincoln's, I think, just to deal with the charge, so they can't counter split pushes easily.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, his farm is getting pretty scary, though. He's up there with Loda, and that Handamitis is really starting to pay off. Alliance now pressuring the bottom tier 1 tower. We got the Magnus tucked in the tree line here. Blink RP ready, but no friends nearby, and they will just let this tier 1 go down. Not a big access.
I do want to point out, Andrew, look at that rune in Eternal Envy's bottle. AC now picked up, coming on the courier. Brood's pushing in the top lane. Double damage AC Tiny with the Ags. Could be devastating.
And the AC has just been delivered. This is a huge time for the Tiny. The power rune, the rune of many wins as some call it. Tiny will move by and kill his brethren as he waits, but now the double damage has been popped. He gets a haste rune. Oh no, double runes. Can they do anything with this?
I mean, maybe. It's hard to say. I think they're a little reluctant to fight into global as well as Aegis right now, but
yeah.
It's more, I think what Alliance really need to be careful about is getting baited into a fight somewhere on the map and then the Tiny Wisp relocating to try and take a lane of Rax. That's something they have to be vigilant about for the remainder of this game. It's mentally exhausting, and we're going to see a smoke here from a couple of heroes on Alliance, not the whole gang. Nico gets revealed, Avalanche, double damage, toss.
Oh, Envy. If you look at their vision, they have very few, more eyes than I thought, actually, on the Dire side. I thought you could get a little more to that.
There's your global bottom.
Used. Okay, down bottom. It's a relocate. They're going on to Pycat for now, just trying to keep Big Daddy alive. The Centaur, it'll be there to help with some stuns, but Big Daddy in so much trouble. 1 second left till he relocates back. Ooh, he takes the Tiny with him.
And now it's time to push top. You've just pulled their whole team bottom. The global's been used. Let's go, baby. That's the call here from Sama. We'll blink in. I don't think they'll actually threaten high ground, but they will continue to draw Alliance back, just wait out the Sages, farm their jungle. And it's like, well, great, you got the Roshan, but we're farming all over the map. We've got more mobility, and
that was a 10-second BKB on the troll also.
Yeah, that too. That haste rune really just completely baited them. Just able to easily scurry away. The Wisp, very elusive, and
less than a minute left on the Aegis here. I don't think Alliance are going to be able to make good use of this.
They get nothing. I wonder if they even have to just gear up for a strong late game now. Maybe they just can't. It seems like they're losing a lot of their map control, their momentum. That's been the story of this Cloud9 team. You know, we talked a lot about the Vision heroes after Game 1, and they banned 3 of them. The Zeus, I know the Beastmaster, I forget who the third was. Broodmother gives you another form of map control just because she takes over your jungle. She's always pushing that top lane. It's not really a Vision hero per se. They get some from the Spiderlings, but it just seems like it's the key to a lot of Cloud9 strategies lately have just been this map control Vision style of play. Slow, steady, rarely wins quickly, but always keeping their opponents on the back foot.
Yeah, Loda's been doing a good job carrying this gem around. He is not giving it away yet, but sometimes easier said than done. Brood hanging off the cliff here. Will get dusted, but hiding in the fog behind the tree. Good positioning from Bone 7. Kind of an awkward position for the Brood to be in with half of her legs floating in the air there, but will survive. And that's another dust wasted and minor victory for Cloud9. All the while, Envy just farming on up. We talked about that AC that he picked up a minute or two ago, and already another 2,000 gold sitting in the bank. Wisp now with a buckler as well as a Vladimir's offering. I think he had a 23-minute Ags or something like that. Now the AC completed 2.3k gold, and he's been very active and involved this game. It's not like he's just been AFK turbo farming. So it's just the power of the Tiny. You know, the hero will catch up. Fada's not that far away from Refresher. He has the Oblivion Staff, 1,400 gold. He's farming away, and C9 will just continue to split the map. They will glyph the tier 1 tower top. All 5 of Alliance rotating here. There will be a charge from the Spirit Breaker coming out on the Tiny.
Cancels it though. Now there's a fight breaking out. Nikwa getting off the duel. There's your first kill. He's up to 84 damage. He is stacking it up, man. This is one of the best Legion games I've seen in a long time.
Yeah,
at least when it comes to winning duels.
And
it gets to that point where he could maybe even man fight. I mean, he needs a lot of duels, but get the BKB. You have the Blade Mail. Tiny normally doesn't build BKB, so the Blade Mail does a lot. And at some point with the Troll, you can pick up a Basher or Abyssal Blade.
Yeah.
That's the point where he could potentially take on a Tiny. Potentially.
Yeah, Loda, pretty lucky they did not have a ward on the high ground there. That could have been disastrous. He was at like 65% HP, Tiny lingering nearby. Just a blink combo would have been enough for a kill, and that would have handed over the gem. But he did manage to stay in fog and stayed alive there.
There's your BKB.
Okay.
Still, there's the RP and the grip. Cloud9 have good answers for any BKB pickups. As well as the toss back, potentially, though. If you're getting dueled, obviously, you can't do that.
Yeah, and just the raw damage from this Tiny now as he's hitting fast and always hitting hard.
He still has to worry a bit about the troll blinds. That is a concern. Manta is a good solution for that. BKB is a possibility, but I think against the Legion, the Spirit Breaker... I mean, two Bash Lords, the Spirit Breaker ult, the Global, I don't think it's... And the Duel, I don't think it's a particularly great BKB game for Envy.
No. Manta will give him kind of the big thing, which is the blind, like you mentioned. That's the big one that he has to deal with. I think the bashes and all that kind of stuff are okay. Not a huge amount of magical damage either. Or yeah, to block out here. So Alliance still looking for opportunities to find ganks. They're hungry for blood, but Cloud9 doing what they do best, where they split the map and they're only taking fights on their terms. They will refuse to fight until they have that edge that they're looking for in the numbers advantage or whatever it is. Envy, though, he'll prove us both wrong, LD. He goes for the BKB next item. It's been picked up and on the way.
One of his most reviled items. He is, and you know, the item's only gotten nerfed since then.
Yeah. That's true.
Again, it's not a great BKB game, but Fada top lane, another duel for Nikwa. I did not catch the initiation there, but just a blink by Nikwa, it looks like, and plus 102. Okay, he's getting there.
Yeah, he really is.
Third of the way to that rapier.
Misery does have a blink dagger on the Bane, though, so does have some tools to try to counter-initiate here with that Toon Strip. Also level 11, but actually not skilling it up as you don't get anything but damage. Not one of the best scaling ultimates here.
You know, if you really think about it, you know why Alliance on paper have the better late game? Because they've got the Silencer and the Legion, so they have infinite additional damage.
That's true. That is the ultimate in late game.
Maybe Alliance is like cruising for that, you know, 4-hour game where they've won like endless duels. They've got all the stolen in.
So Loda can just have 10,000 mana.
With the troll ultimate as well. It's
yeah, I mean, you're right. They could turtle up forever, I guess.
Team Thief.
Oh, here we go. It's a pretty quick respawn for third Roche. It will be Aegis and Cheese, and this one, C9 would like to contest. But there's no way they can do it. Relocate. Right onto Mad. He'll charge forward onto Misery. Global has been deployed. Roche is already dead, but Mad will not survive for his team to get there in time.
Get anything. A lot of these recent globals have not gotten a whole lot done. Relocate goes back out. Perhaps they get another duel. They're tracking Misery into the tree line. They get some vision here. The Troll Axe is coming out. Self-sleep, and give me your damage. Thanks.
Not much Misery could do there. He had a TP scroll. Maybe if he had another second or two, could have blinked into the tree line and TP'd home, but not so bad. Trade 1 for 1.
The only thing Alliance are missing from that strategy is the Pudge. Yeah. They need their Poot command. And they've got all three of the heroes that just can keep on leeching and growing infinitely.
Mid lane, Hex out on Tiny. It has been picked up by Loda. He's the one carrying the Aegis for now. Big Daddy with a long-range tether across the ravine. We'll keep him safe. Bottles up a bounty rune. Pycat in hot pursuit. Pycat did pick up the Satanic as his next big item after the BKB. He's now the one carrying the gem. Never mind. Passes it back over to Loda.
It seems like it's all about living through the big ultimates of Cloud9. You're going to have to deal with the grip and RP. You want to be able to tank up as much as possible, and then once that ends, pop your Satanic and try to turn the fight.
And Cheese is on Pycat for now. So this is getting to the point where Alliance are starting to get some bigger items and ready to continue fighting. Brood still not going for the Manta style, now has an Eagle Salt. Looks like Bone 7 does want to get involved in these fights, and Butterfly will be on the way for him. Good item on Brood, but usually a luxury item that doesn't pop out all too often. Looks like, what's that on the courier there? Is that a crit? Ooh, Envy. He's got a Crystallis, and that's a full refresher for Mr. Fata.
Okay. This game is getting interesting.
Both teams with big items now.
Yeah, Fata has the Yules to deal with the global, but no BKB, so he's still very vulnerable to that blade mail damage from Nikwa if he gets a duel. Maybe you can save him with a defensive relocate, but for the most part, Big Daddy is just tied to the hip of Eternal Envy.
Yeah, smoke from Cloud9, though. They'll rotate through the mid. Bone 7 not with them. He does have a TP, no boots of travel, and we'll just try to pressure that top lane, it looks like. Four-man ganking squad looking for the opening. All of the ultis available for Alliance. They've got the global, and still plenty of time on the Aegis.
Loda's down in the river. He is your Aegis carrier, as you mentioned, and
okay.
well, there was an Aegis there.
Mad comes charging in though onto Tiny. Fiend's grip to interrupt it. Misery will hold him on the low ground. Now the skewer back onto Loda. Is there an RP? The Storm Spirit.
But it's going to be too late, it seems. Maybe it doesn't even matter. He can get off the global now. He will do so. They blink forward. They'll bring him down, but Pycat's going ham on the back lines.
It's just too much damage. Pycat can't do it. Misery moves into the fog. Now Pycat on the run. He'll eat the cheese. The blind comes out, but Avalanche is there. The skewer to the low ground catches two. There's Fada with the RP they needed. They toss the spider in the air. They find the kill on the Dazzle. Pycat will try to TP home, and he will. That's nice, but a very minor victory across a slew of negatives. A disaster for Alliance once more, LD.
They got outplayed so hard that fight. So first, he loses the Aegis for nothing. Just gets killed off in the river. Then they RP him before he could global because the Spirit Breaker charges in, he gets gripped. Then Loda gets caught by Blake RP Skewer, pulled into the middle of the enemy team, and then normally you would double RP there. But Fada holds the second RP because he saw that he got Graves, so he doesn't waste it. He saves it for later in the fight. In the meanwhile, they're able to just wait out the BKBs. Sure, he gets off the global, but it's after Cloud9 have gotten kills and used all their big spells, and now they have to double buyback on their cores, and what was once a Tiny was behind, he's now in great shape. They go in on him with the Nether Strike, defensive relocate, pulling down in 5. They gotta kill somebody quickly, trying to go in the Wisp, but just unable to get the job done. Pycat just tickles. Neekwa's gonna go down. That's
it's a double dieback. Oh no! This started as like maybe a later barracks, but now Alliance, this could be the GG push. Pycat with a BKB on, he's after Misery outside of the base, and Misery says, sure, focus on me while my Tiny kills your base, son. Wisp is here, Misery's still alive. Look at this space creation here. Pycat, he finally kills him, but that's 2 lanes of barracks down.
Oh, and no, they're throwing in it now. They know it's a double buyback. Cloud9 looking to just destroy Alliance and knock them out of the Summit 3 just like that. It seems they may be able to do it. They're bludgeoning their way forward straight onto the throne. For all these 60, 70, 80, 90-minute games this team has had to play or hell even 3 hours. Finally, it looks like they'll be able to just take care of business and win a game convincingly. Pycat trying to do it alone, but Eternal Envy calmly ignored him, missed the Lincoln Sphere on himself, and just continues to club the throne. And with one final swoop of that tree, he ends the Alliance run here in the Summit 3.
My, oh my.
Their only chance now is the redemption vote, but they cannot directly qualify.
Absolutely. Back-to-back 2-0s today for elimination. Cloud9 just looking stronger than Alliance in that series. Both games, times where they outplayed them, and good drafting as well.
Fada just, those RPs, man. Oh my god. He just won them the game with that one fight.
Yeah.
Go straight out, won them the game. Oh, man. You just have to take your hat off to Cloud9. They played like a team that deserves to be considered one of the, like, on a clear another level from some of these other strong contenders in Europe. Whereas before, go back a couple of days ago, people were saying maybe NIP is a better team. They knocked them down to the lower bracket. Maybe Alliance is a better team. Cloud9's looking vulnerable. Even when they win, it's like an 80, 90-minute game. It takes endless buybacks. They're barely able to crawl and claw their way out to a victory, but this was convincing.
When it all counts, when the cards are on the table, Cloud9, they showed up to play, and they showed up to win. So things are really heating up here in the Summit 3 by Gigabyte in Europe. We're still in Phase 2, and we still have some room to go. We've got more coverage tomorrow. Let's go ahead and pull up the brackets, LD, see what we're working with here.
So we're down to 4 teams now.
Yes. NIP will be squaring off against Cloud9 tomorrow, fighting for elimination again, and then it will be Secret versus ASUS.Polar, your winner bracket finals. One of those 2 teams will be qualifying for the Summit, and that's tomorrow.
And the loser has a second shot, so... I believe the winner bracket finals and the lower bracket finals are both best of 5, so those will be longer matches because they are play-in matches. We don't actually play the grand finals here, even though we showed on the bracket. The 2 teams that get into the grand finals are, as you were saying, the teams that qualify, for those who are wondering about the format. So, well, down to 4 teams. 2 are coming, and others may be making a strong case for consideration in the redemption vote.
Yeah, should be fun. So... that wraps it up for us today, LD. A relatively quick cast compared to some of the games we've seen. Wow.
Cloud9, it seemed like someone lit a fire under their ass. Maybe they got a little pep talk. You know, maybe a Turtle Envy started, you know, he started powering up. after his anime. I'm sure there's like a suitable anime that
I don't watch anime.
Like,
I wish I had some
channeling
references.
in his head right now. Yeah, I don't have the references either. This is where we need Coddle Guy to bail us out. But.
Yeah, Ii-sama's all I got. So thanks for joining us, guys. I'm Zyori. He's LD. If you enjoyed the cast, follow us on Twitter at LDDota and at Zyori TV. Of course, follow at Beyond the Summit as well to stay up to date with all things happening here in the studio and the latest on the Summit 3 presented by Gigabyte. We're done for today. Come back tomorrow because there's a lot more Dota 2 still to be played.
I was actually one of the first people to